Welcome to the Heinrich-Böll-Stiftung Nischen. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome with me from Zimbabwe, Comrade Fatso, Outspoken, and Michael K., and enjoy the Zambezi show.
Story behind that story before it's even. We don't just bring you news. We don't just bring you news. We bring you news. Tomorrow's news. News before it's become news. We bring you the news when it's just a small news embryo in the uterus of daily life. And when there is no news, we make the news.
Our news is so patriotic and nationalistic that even other countries are patriotic and nationalistic about our news. At Zambezi News, we give you the results before the fixtures are even confirmed.
At Zambezi News, we're not just a news station, we're also a sewing cooperative and run an orphanage on the side. Blood transfusion, you got it. Blood diamonds? Maybe. Wholesome news for the whole family. Thanks, guys. Hey, you just dropped a paper, Jerome. We're for the environment, too. Even little Jimmy, who is interning at the station, is doing his bit. Zambezi News. News for the whole family.
Are you a high-powered ruler? Do you often get stains from pesky journalists? Do you get marks from dirty opposition parties? Do you find foreign governments in your underwear? You need sovereignty. It gets rid of pesky journalists after the first wash and turns dirty opposition parties into clean, obedient junior partners in your government. Foreign meddling in your underwear by homosexual governments will be a thing of the past. Sovereignty. Dirty is good.
We are here to say to the imperialist nations, that is you. We the Zimbabweans have...
Good evening and thank you for joining us at Zambezi News. My name is Jerome Weathers.
I am Mandape. And I'm Kudzai Mushai Hembe. Well, firstly, we'd like to thank you for your warm welcome into what is now our beautiful country. As you may know, the Zambezi News team, well, save for Jerome, managed to make huge savings by not applying for your exorbitant visas. And I must say, the trip through the Mediterranean was as scenic as my Syrian brothers had mentioned. I myself managed to clamber onto the yacht of a very rich Russian, while Kudzai had to hold on for dear life on top of a plank, masquerading as a refugee sailboat.
I thought I was gonna die. I mean, I couldn't see a thing after the 5th tear gas canister hit me in the face. You know what, Manape, you told me that the Politik were celebrating our arrival with fireworks.
They did.
Those were not the fireworks I expected, mate. I did meet some nice Somalian guys, though. Several of them, actually, yeah. But how did you get in?
Well, unlike you, Kudzai, I'm a white man with a passport. I flew into Berlin Tegel and caught a cab, and frankly, it was quite a hair-raising experience for me too. I couldn't decide whether to order the Chardonnay or the Sauvignon Blanc on the plane. Frankly, the perils of international migration.
Well, anyway, let's get on with the news. I have a meeting with Lutz Bachmann at the local anti-Islamic bar down the street in about 30 minutes.
Well, in our first report, a Zimbabwean delegation consisting of our top brass finance team has been deployed to Greece in efforts to foster international solidarity and avert economic disaster in the Mediterranean country. As Zimbabweans are experts on hyperinflation, we're going to encourage the Greeks to ditch the dictatorial euro and switch back to the sexy drachma.
Yeah. Because as we all know, these Zimbabweans... Yeah, all right. We Zimbabweans have broken many records. We've had record-breaking inflation, turning us into a country of millionaires. I remember when it cost $1 trillion to buy a loaf of bread. Yeah.
You're welcome. Where else in the history of existence have you heard of an entire nation being turned into overnight successes? Everyone had a wheelbarrow of money, employed or not. In fact, we predicted the recession in Europe years before, so we meddled in inflation so that we could help them in years to come.
Yes, Mudape. So, as the European dream unravels, we as Zimbabweans are here to teach you how to switch currencies constantly, how to carry all your cash around you with your backpack, and how to generally survive on a black market economy.
Indeed. And now we go on to our next report, where we cross over to our beloved Minister of Impending Projects, who had a very successful talk at the United Nations Summit.
We are here to say to the imperialist nations, that is, we the Zimbabweans have every right to demand 50% or more of white-owned companies. Why are you being crybabies? As my ministry is primarily for impending projects, I will not dwell on indigenization, as that is already a project underway. I am here to beseech the United Nations in 2 impending projects that my ministry is undertaking. As it is not worldwide, the Kariba Dam is in danger of collapsing. I know our Zambian compatriots have been busy fundraising for the repair of the dam. Us in Zimbabwe are also taking the threat very seriously. Thus, the project has been placed under my ministry as a top priority impending project. We are seeking $1 billion for a due diligence study. I know most of you are skeptical as to where this money will go, as most monies that you have given to my country have gone unaccounted for. I agree, some of it might have been diverted to cover weddings and such, but these are events of national importance. To ensure and encourage accountability, the $1 billion shall be deposited into my personal account, and I will personally account for every cent. This is where you applaud me for such honesty and transparency. You are honored.
Zimbabwean prowess there.
Will join us after this short commercial break.
What's he got that we don't? I don't get it.
Patriotism. We'll hate you if you haven't got it. Contains 51% sovereignty and other additives. Not to be sold to children with access to dual citizenship or black Zimbabweans with white tendencies. Available at all patriotism tuck shops, supermarkets, police stations, roadblocks, and militia camps nationwide.
Dual citizenship. Definitely talking about you, Jerome.
Yeah, well, I see, Mandapi, you managed to smuggle in some of your homegrown militia-style propaganda.
Indeed. I figured since I'm the only patriot here, I should dictate the pace. But why so quiet, Kudzaishe? We thought you'd be rejoicing in your famous Oxford-acquired accent. This is, after all, where you got your alleged degree, no?
I loved being in the United Kingdom, mate. Oh, I had such a great experience visiting the Eiffel Tower near King's Landing, meeting up with the mother of pop R&B and dragons, Khaleesi, just after she divorced Harry Potter.
You've never lived in the UK, have you, Kudzaishe? You're like the Kaiser Soze of Zimbabwe. All your knowledge of the UK comes from popular series and sitcoms.
And not to mention, the mother of pop R&B and dragons is Mary J. Blige, eh? Don't get it twisted.
I went to Oxford.
Where's this Oxford of yours?
Where? Oxford Night School in Manchester, where I majored in journalism and cake icing.
Join us after this break.
Somewhere in the heart of the Midwest.
I've got to save Africa. I've got to save Africa.
So selfless, honey. Selfless, honey.
A dream must be fulfilled. A risk taken. Famine Pictures presents a heartwarming tale of bravery and sacrifice. He killed thousands. Single-handedly. He saved the entire continent. They didn't even know from what. In fact, they hadn't even asked for his help. The entire cast died around him. But he survived. One man alone in Africa. One man, one quest, thousands of powerless extras, and 11 years in the making. White Knight, rising in a dark continent. Soon to a theater near you.
Some of Jerome's reckless kith and kin there.
Mandapi, I'll have you know that my ancestors are more the outdoorsy explorer types. We discovered things like Great Zimbabwe, the Victoria Falls, and the lesser-known northern Matabeleland pigeon tribes from the Okavango Peninsula.
And I'm sure you made a lot of friends along the way.
Well, we mainly helped the locals by helping them rename all of their ancient relics so the hapless chaps wouldn't forget what they were called. I mean, our philanthropy knew no bounds. We mainly built schools, railroads, and hospitals. Granted, they were for whites only, but it's the thought that counts.
The bastards. Well, in breaking news, it has been discovered that Europeans finally know the name of a famous African, and he is a lion. One who is descended from quite an accomplished lineage, stretching from Mufasa to Simba, and the lesser-known Gorgeous George, who was alienated for his vegetarian disposition.
Because Africa is just one big safari. We only have lions and zebras. There's no innovation, skyscrapers, or cutting-edge electronic music to talk of. No, it's just one big savannah. So while Africa rises, thanks for making the biggest story about our continent over the last few months, one about a dead lion.
Wait. Speak for yourself, my friend. I've been getting condolence messages since I got here, which is a welcome break from all the Ebola stares I was used to receiving, which in itself took the spotlight from my village HIV status, and questions like, how is your fly-infested desert love child? Which one?
Well, we cross now to our roving reporter, Kefas Josfats, reporting live from Berlin.
I am here in Europe, exploring the immigration situation. This has come to the fore with large amounts of illegal immigrants crossing into Europe by boats, and the emergence of large numbers of Islamophobic and anti-immigrant groups in many European countries. We at Zambezi News ask the questions. Would you be able to stop illegal immigrations if European countries stop supporting third world dictators, or bombing our countries, or enforcing a very unfair global economic system? Or maybe you should just stop showing Keeping Up with the Kardashians across Africa, making us think that the West is filled with Beverly Hills luxury and big booties. Luckily, the recent airing of I Am Kate may help stem the tide of immigrants from Africa, as we are not sure where we stand on transgender people. Either way, Zimbabwe is a partially democratic country, and we want to democratically ask you, the people, your thoughts on immigration and other things. Yeah, you, for example, say or madam, depending on your transgender situation. Yeah? Yeah. Now, did you, the West, really kill bin Laden? Or was he an old Pakistani who took the day off work with flu, wrapped himself up in a blanket, and decided to watch Bundesliga?
Hopefully the latter.
The latter, which means you did kill him or you did not?
No, I didn't kill anyone.
No, I said the West. You are white, so you are West.
So, no,
I know all foreigners look alike, yes. Yes. You did kill him.
It's the same for you? That's good.
No, it's the same for me. All of you white people look the same to me. Yes. No, that is understandable. I know it's hateful, yes, for you. Yes. Yes, a shame. Anyway, thank you for that answer. You said nothing. Yes. Thank you for it. We shall move on. We shall excuse me, sir or madam. Again, depending on your gender. Now, is it true that Angela Merkel is trying to kill Greece because she wants to buy a cheap holiday home on a Greek island?
Maybe.
Maybe? Which side are you? Are you on her side or the other side?
The other side.
The other side. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Thank you for that answer. Yes. Moving along. And now you say, I'm hoping you are madam. Are you madam?
Not sure.
You are not sure? I'm hoping you are madam. Okay, I'm very much hoping. What do you think of my looks? Yeah, thank you. Do you think maybe you could marry me? So that maybe I might be able to acquire some sexually transmitted citizenship.
Let's discuss later.
We'll discuss later. Yes, I like it. She's blonde. Yes, I've got it. And there you had it. The people have spoken in their numbers. I am Kefas Josfats, reporting live, surrounded by an alarming number of white people in Berlin. Back to the studio.
Well, thank you for that report, Kefas. Join us after this short break.
Today, gays are This is the story of how gays colonized the birthplace of the gays. The birthplace of the gays, 1765. Queen Jeremy leads the gays aboard the Rainbow Warrior. A few lesser known lesbians join the crew. Daunted by the enormous task ahead, Queen Jeremy leads in an ABBA medley to lift their spirits. The groping of Africa has begun. First stop, Tunisia. When native chiefs sell off their ripe teenage sons to Queen Jeremy in return for coloured beads and 3 yards of mutton. Grounding the buttocks of Africa. The gays erect a fabulous camp from where they launch their attack on African culture. Family life, and interior design. Having sucked the marrow from the bone of Africa. Louis Leakey, an undercover gay and his transsexual lover, penetrates the dark interior. They emerge from the Rift Valley with ancient gay and some new friends, whom they name after famous Roman gays. Homo habilis, Homo erectus. It doesn't get gayer than that. Failing to get a grip on the Horn of Africa, and overwhelmed by large Ugandans, the gays turn and flee south from behind. They flee to Cape Town, where they settle in camp. They rewrite the Constitution and introduce musical theatre to the natives. The Rainbow Nation is born.
My God. Definitely from your tribe, Jerome. I mean, all evidence points west on that one.
Sorry, excuse my homophobic colleague. His upbringing was a blinkered one.
No, I think I had more inspiring upbringing. In the wise words and philosophical teachings of Kendrick Lamar, I quote, "All my life, I want money and power. Respect my mind or die from lead showers. I pray my loins get as big as the Eiffel Tower, so I can fornicate the world for 72 hours. Damn, I feel amazing. Damn, I feel amazing. You see, my mind is living on cloud 9, and this 9 is never on vacation. I start up the Maserati, and vroom, vroom, I'm racing."
Yes, Mandape, we get the picture. Now we're going to cross over to the famous Minister of Impending Projects.
Yeah. Thank you, young men, depending who you are. Yes, anyway. I'm very happy to be here in Germany. What country is this?
It's Germany, Minister.
Germany, yes. I'm very happy to be in Germany, to be talking to you, white people. You know, we don't have many of you where I come from. You are almost extinct. Yes. You've been hunted out, actually, in Zimbabwe, you know. It's unfortunate, you know. Some people, they say to us, "Why are you killing off the white people?" It's not our fault. It's called natural selection. You see, in Zimbabwe, we have a term for everyone. The quick and the dead. Which one are you? You have to choose. Yes, lovely. Now, you are all Germans, yes. Are you German? 100% Deutsch. Excellent. Let me ask you a question, my friend. Do you love being a German?
I never got another example.
You don't have? You are just Deutsch.
I was traveling, but I'm living here, quite happy. Yeah.
You are originally from here? Ah, excellent. There's a Deutschman there. That's good. I know you are not from here. I can just look at you. You look foreign. You live in Kreuzberg. Yes, I know. I've noticed there's a lot of foreigners in Kreuzberg. My brother, you know, I had to come to you. How are you? You are obviously not German. Obviously. No, where are you from?
I'm actually from Zimbabwe.
Oh! You're from Zimbabwe? Why are you here? You ran away from your own nation. See, these are the sellouts we talk about. They leave their nation. Hey, a Zimbabwean here in Germany. Where from in Zimbabwe?
I'm from Gweru.
Gweru! Ah, I own that town. Anyway, it's okay. He's one of my citizens. Right. Now, who else amongst you is not from Germany and they are white? Don't put up your hand. Yes. You are not from Germany. Where are you from? Oh, Britain. Ah, the colonialists. Yes. Yes. And do you love being British?
Well, I live in Germany, so...
With a Zimbabwean, obviously. No, I know why you're with him. Yes, no, I know us Zimbabweans are gifted. Yes, in many areas. Yes, that's why they are together, yes. No, I can see, where are you from? Yes. Namibia! Wow, we've got Namibians here. Where is that on the map?
Somewhere near the bottom.
Somewhere the
bottom
corner.
Bottom left.
There's a lot of sand there, isn't there?
No, it's
no, it's okay. No, it's okay. I know. No, in Zimbabwe, no, we own a lot of things. Sand is not one of them. It's good to see you. How long have you been in Germany? You're born here. So then you are not from Namibia. No, how can you be from Namibia if you're born here? No, you are German. No, just a bit of a darker shade, but you're German. See, yes, you must be born somewhere to be from that place. You were born in Germany. So it means you are a Deutschlander. Do you speak German? Yeah, you're a Deutschlander. Yeah. I don't speak a single word. No, it is wonderful. Now let me speak to some senior citizens here. Do you speak English? A little bit of English, yes. How old are you, sir?
77.
77 years old. You don't look a day above 75. Wonderful. No, I like to see this. White people, are living a long time. In Zimbabwe, they don't live this long. No, they don't. 77. You are like a dinosaur in Zimbabwe. Our children, they get so awed when they see white people. My own children, all 50 of them, from various mothers. As a minister, you have to have many wives. It's an African thing. You need to have that. You should try it in Germany. It's a good thing. Have more than one wife. It's variety. Variety is the spice of life. Yes. So I have that. So I've got 50 children. And every time we go sightseeing. Now, sightseeing in Zimbabwe is going to where the white people live. And to see how many you will spot within an hour. My children are very good. They can spot at least 2 within 1 hour. Yes. Oh, daddy, white man. Oh, white woman. That happens a lot. I know it sounds racist, but I'm not racist. I love white people. Properly cooked, they taste just like chicken. Yes. Thank you so much. I had this lovely talk with you people, and I've enjoyed it. Even if you have not, I have. You are honored. Thank you.
Thank you to our wonderful minister there, our Minister of Impending Projects, showcasing cutting-edge Zimbabwean diplomacy at its best as we make friends across nations. Now we're going to cross to a report on recently held successful elections in Zimbabwe. Thank you.
They say when elephant fight, only the grass suffers. And some would have us believe that the grass is greener on the other side. However, camels do not like their backs being broken by the final straw. Such is the case here in Upper Northeast Bulelembangwe, in rural Cholocho, near the Tropic of Capricorn, 95 degrees in the shade. We are here at the local polling station where 50,000 votes have been cast. Even before the aforementioned station is even opened. This goes to show the eagerness and unrivaled dexterity of the 3 local villagers to exercise their democratic rights.
We caught up with one of the local villagers.
Actually, I'm coming from the grinding mill. I was just grinding my maize, but they didn't let me vote.
There you have it. You have heard it for yourself. You have heard it for yourself. From the horses' mouth. They have voted in their thousands. They have put their X next to sovereignty. Kefas Josphats. In a difficult to name place. With too many L's.
Well, as you can see, we are masters at running transparent elections. We ensure that only the patriotic are allowed to vote, so that only the patriotic are allowed to win. We disallow those with imperialist or opposition tendencies, such as those that are young, those that live in urban areas, and those that didn't die in our liberation struggle. Because after all, we died for this country, eh?
I wouldn't exactly say that our elections are free and fair, because we always blame somebody else for our own ineptitude. We blame the West, we blame the opposition, we blame my dog Spot.
Well, that's just how it is when it's election time. I mean, in Zimbabwe, we blame the imperialists and the foreign-funded opposition. And in the West, they blame the Islamic State and the smelly, job-stealing illegal immigrants. It's just how it is come election time.
Yeah, but in Zimbabwe, your family always wins the elections, Mandape.
Yeah, well, they don't call us the first family for nothing. Eh? See, ZANU-PF is the People's Party. As long as you're the right people and from the right faction, you're fine.
I guess it also makes it easier in history class for our children, because they only have to learn one name when asked all the previous presidents of Zimbabwe over the last 35 years. I mean, it's much easier than in the US.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. We now cross over to our next report, which is our popular Master Chef program.
So today, the dish you have to come up with is meeting the promises in your election manifesto. Right to wonder. On the one hand, you have an angry population. On the other, you have an ostentatious 10-car motorcade. What are you going to do to wonder? What are you going to do to wonder? What are you going to do?
Do I have the backing of the faction in the army?
Not for this one to wonder. Not for this one to wonder, but for your dessert dish.
Choosing between the two ingredients, obviously I will go for the motorcade. It's much sweeter and easier to run with. Citizens can be sour if you rub them the wrong way.
What have you done to wonder? You've burnt your dish.
That's my strategy.
Interesting strategy. I see that you've burnt the citizens on the outside, leaving charred remnants of your electorate, but have managed to still maintain a very appetizing layer of privilege in the center. You've also managed to burn some of the ingredients on the outside. Now, how did you do that?
Well, I used the motorcade to crush the dissenting population, thus using one ingredient to neutralize the taste of the other. Of course, they had to be tenderized first, so I deployed a militia with batons, and after a few seconds, they succumbed to a
Smashing combination. Reminds me of a traditional dish we have back in Australia called floating boats, where you have boats of spicy Asian refugees floating in a soup of nothingness. But that's for another day.
Tawanda was really sweating over his dish. But the way he tenderized that population, it was a master stroke. I'm definitely taking that back to my constituents.
So today, we have a special guest in the MasterChef kitchen. He's the most renowned politician in his field. He's managed to stay in office for over 30 years without ever seeing a project to completion, but still lives a life of absolute decadent luxury. I'm talking about none other than the Minister of Impending Projects.
How are you, my good fellows? When George introduced the minister, I
knew it would be a game changer. The minister is an inspiration I've been looking up to for years. He's a great man that's good at doing nothing so well.
You see, I have developed a technique over the years that has seen me successfully never finish a dish. I have mastered the half-baked, the underdone. If you listen to me today, you can hear 10 election promises that are never well done. In the words of my constituency, it leaves a bitter taste in your mouth.
Well, we'd like to thank you for joining us here at Zambezi News. But before we go, we'd like to leave you with the entertaining tunes of Zimbabwe's biggest hip-hop group. They've got 3 likes on their Facebook page and have been retweeted by a dyslexic Malaysian woman. They are the Even Mo Little Swaggery Boys, and I've been Jerome Weathers.
I am still Mandape.
And I'm Kuzaishe Mushai Hembe. And I'm going back to Kreuzberg, because I love foreigners.
My name is Sim Shady. My name is Sim Shady. My name is Sim Shady. My name is Hi kids, you like finance? Want to see me build 16 rooms in a mansion in Highlands? Want to make billions from just 5 cents? Exploit employees until their lifestyles are lifeless?
My bank looks great. I cannot keep my cash straight, so I have to pay police so they don't come investigate. And like my pay says,
Sneezy, you've made it. Just check your payslip. It's amazing.
Since age 12, I accumulated my wealth by basically embezzling at the expense of everyone else. Got tipped off to sponsor politics, boards, build connections, and watch my business empires take off.
I walk with big bags of cash that I love to flash and spend faster than a black man who's not used to cash. Come here, money.
Angry, wait a minute. That's my cash, dog.
I don't care. I'm here to benefit even at your law.
My name is Sim Shady. My name is Sim Shady. My name is Sim Shady.
I built 8 churches that are skyscrapers to the naked eye. All you need is a congregation that believes your every line. I have a direct line to the creator. He needs all your paper. Put it in my account. We sort it out later. Rebuke the demons of not giving cash. Rebuke the curse of investing outside my church. I see a vision of money. Money coming to you, then me. Basically money coming to me via you, from you. Amen.
Well, we'd like to thank you for joining us here at Zambezi News. My name is Jerome Weathers.
And I am still Mandape.
And I will always be Kuzaishe Mushai Hembe.
Thank you and good night.
for a little while. And let me briefly, while we're still moving tables, introduce the 3 stars of the show you've just seen. Farai Monroe in the middle, also known as Comrade Fatso, as I said, is one of Zimbabwe's most prominent spoken word artist and comedian. With his band Shabvandoka, he's also known as a brilliant hip-hop singer. I think it was hard work to do what you just did in the last piece. Tongai Makawa, welcome as well. Also known as Outspoken, again as a leading hip-hop star and a renowned musical mentor to young talented Zimbabweans. He acts as a spoken word artist and participated in numerous poetry festivals worthy of note. And last not least, Michael Kudagwashe, also known as Michael K, to my left, is a popular Zimbabwean stage and television actor, a comedian, and an acclaimed caricaturist. He rose to prominence in the early 2000s with his series The Guest that featured at the famous book cafe, sorry, got it wrong, which closed recently, right? My name is Kirsten Massalbea. I'm not a comedian, but I'm heading the Africa department at the Heinrich-Böll Foundation, and I have the pleasure to moderate this evening. We want to have a brief talk about Zambezi news, about Zimbabwe, and I'm sure that you have some questions after the show. If you want to mingle, meanwhile, there's drinks and so on. Feel free to move. We don't have to all sit in the room. The doors are open. Feel free. Short introduction to Zambezi news that we've just seen the show of. Zambezi news was born in 2011 when Farai and Tongai met on the underground hip-hop scene in Harare and came up with the idea. Then they co-founded Magamba Network, the cultural activist network that runs by now numerous projects which give young people in and around Zimbabwe's capital city, Harare, spaces for free expression. One of the network's flagship projects is the Shoko Spoken Word and Hip Hop Festival, which started in 2011. And by now I take a seat because I don't want to be standing all the way. And Shoko means word in Shona, right?
Means the word in Shona, yeah.
And Shona is one of the 2 most prominent languages spoken in Zimbabwe. Zambezi news, however, made these guys extremely popular in Zimbabwe. Millions of people are watching these clips, video clips. They have by now produced 4 seasons, distributed via DVD and shared on Facebook, WhatsApp, and YouTube. Inside and outside Zimbabwe, you've seen, right? Soon the season, they told me yesterday, will also be screened on a new television channel in South Africa, which is coincidentally named Zambezi Magic. And I want to first, again, welcome you. And I would also very briefly like the Teichmann brothers. I think there's only one brother, at least one I see here, the other one. Please stand up and wave your hands. The Gebrüder Teichmann. I don't need to introduce them to you because I'm sure that they are your favorite DJs in town. But I wanted to mention that these guys, these 3, and the 2 Teichmänner, can I say Teichmänner? Thanks. They met at the Shoko Festival some years back, became friends, stayed in touch. And it's thanks to the Gebrüder Teichmann that we knew you're coming to Europe. You've been to London last week to a festival presenting the show. And since HBF is supporting the Magamba Network as a donor, we soon collaborated on the idea. So thanks a lot also for bringing them here. And as promised in the announcements that you saw on Facebook and otherwise, they are playing music later on, so there will be drinks and food and music and everything. Now, we saw the show and cracked up in laughter, and I thought we have a little talk also about Zimbabwe tonight, and then it's up to you to bombard them with questions. I just want to make the start and ask you guys, people might argue that the situation in your country is not very funny. Political reforms are not gaining ground, the economy is pretty down, some people are even starving. Serious. Why do Zimbabweans need political satire?
I think looking at our political history, there's been a lot of propaganda that's been fed to the world that things are rosy and this has been shoved down the throats of the Zimbabweans back home. So there was need for an alternative narrative, but one that engages with the people in a not so depressing way, because this is your reality. You can't be living your reality and then also have people telling you how messed up your reality is. But well, we felt that political satire is another way of reflecting on your situation. Think about it, but it's in a lighter format, a more alternative way, and that way it keeps you engaged and also thinking on possible solutions to your situation, but not necessarily being that constant droning of negative energies.
And I think it's all about finding creative means of reaching young people with creative forms of activism, and we've done it a lot with spoken word, with hip hop, with festivals, and for us, like satire is another way of reaching young people in Zimbabwe, reaching them through satire, through stand-up comedy, and also just trying to inspire them to actually believe that they can be part of the change within Zimbabwe. And our biggest inspiration behind Zambezi News is the Zimbabwe Broadcasting Corporation. They're the state-owned broadcasting corporation who really, they literally write 50% of our material. They're the state's propaganda mouthpiece, and their incompetence and their bungling is so epic that it's artistic. And they'll often cut to reports that aren't there. They'll just go to a blank screen, or the presenter will say, "We'll go to our next report," and the camera stays fixed on him for 5 minutes. And so they've been a big inspiration behind what we do. So literally, I think we only write 50% of our material. The rest comes from them.
It's definitely worthwhile watching to see who gave you the inspiration. Can you tell us a bit more about your own background? I said a bit in the introduction, but how did Zambezi News get started, actually?
Came about by fluke, really. At the time, of course, me and Out were involved in running Magamba Network and various other projects, and we'd met up on the spoken word and hip-hop scene and been performing a lot together and performing with our bands. And a friend of ours who was working for a film festival at the time came up to us and was like, "Hey, we want you guys to perform some, like a live news bulletin at our closing night of the film festival." And we said, "Yeah, that's a great idea." Except we were supposed to be on tour in Scandinavia at the time with our music. And so she said, "Well, look, it's a film festival, so we can send a film crew over to film you before you go on tour." And we were like, "Cool, wicked." And then along came the day they were supposed to film us, and 30 minutes before they came, me and Out were like, "Shit, we haven't written anything. We're not even prepared." So we quickly wrote a script in like 30 minutes. And they came, they filmed it, they showed it at the film festival, and it went down a hit. And we were kind of like, "Okay, I guess we're onto something. Like, let's do a season of this." And so after that we shot the first season, and Mike joined us for that, and has been working with us ever since.
How long did it take you to shoot the first season?
6 days, wasn't it? Like 6 days, eh?
It was quite short because we did like 4 episodes for the first season, but it was also a very revolutionary process in terms of we weren't script writers. We were like hip hop artists and spoken word artists and comedians, and so we didn't have a script for the first season. And we had a director come from South Africa. He's originally Zimbabwean. He arrived 2 days before we shot the season, and he was like, "Great, so where's the script?" And we were like, "We don't have a script. We got some bullet points on a page." And so he tried to flesh that out into a script, but literally we shot the first season making it up as we went along. And as we were shooting one report, we were quickly writing the next one. Since then, we do write scripts for the other seasons, and it takes about 2 weeks to shoot one.
Yeah, 2 weeks, 10 days to 2 weeks, yeah.
I do believe you, because over lunch yesterday I could witness how they're just making sketches out of everything. It was hilarious. The next question, however, is more serious and obvious in a political foundation as ours. I wanted to ask you whether you are sometimes afraid about risking too much in the Zimbabwean context. How much freedom of expression do you enjoy, and where are the limits?
Do we have fear? Yes. Yes, definitely. We do fear. And you asked how much freedom of expression do we have? We have a lot. 100% freedom of expression. Freedom after expression is something else. Yeah. That's where the problem comes in, though. And yes, we do fear, but look, somebody has to do it. It's not even just a has to do it. We can't live in fear. So what we do with our satire and our comedy is make people laugh at their situations. And if you can laugh at a situation, you will look at it differently. You know, it's not as hard as you might think it is. You will always see a way out of it or a way to deal with it. So that's what we provide for our people. Hopefully, that's what we do. So yes, we're afraid. Yes, we've been threatened. It happens quite often. We have been. But we're still here. We're still here. Yeah.
Well, you do poke fun at almost everything, it seems. We saw a lot of that. Politics, sex, race, the land reform, even Cecil the Lion. Is there anything that you don't joke about?
Angela Merkel.
You did tonight. It was a premiere.
We just did that. Yeah. The president. Don't joke about him. Don't mention anyone by name. See, there are certain things we don't do because that's just asking to die. Yeah, so you just don't mention certain things, you know. We just imply, you know, everybody will know what we're talking about. So you can't really catch us legally, really. You can't really get us. You said this. No, we did not. When? No, we didn't talk about anybody. You thought of that.
Well, you just said the president now, so...
No, I don't know. She asked what we don't do. I said the president. I did not name him. I didn't name him.
All right.
So the minister, Mike, the minister assembles a certain minister in your country? I recognize the glasses, the hat.
When I created that character many years ago, no, I didn't really. Well, yes, I did. There was a minister who I modeled him around, you know, and I wanted to create a character that's just, you know, embodies the politicians in our country, because they just do absolutely bugger all, you know, really. And I created that character to show that, you know, they're living in luxury, but they don't actually do anything, you know. And that's why I came up with the minister. Yeah, so there was a minister who was a minister like that. That's the way that came from.
Well, maybe in the future we'll see a ministry of pending projects in Zimbabwe. We'll see. Will be
Probably.
interesting.
We've got a few crazy ministries that actually exist in reality. We've got the Ministry of Psychomotor Activities, which even the minister himself doesn't understand what it's really about. But I mean, you know, the ministers are all about getting given jobs, and he's got a job, and he's not too sure what it's about. But
it's progressive.
Getting back to Kreuzberg, Germany, and the like. You've been here for a couple of days. What did you find worth laughing about here?
Everybody. Oh, Germans are funny
Including
people.
me?
Yeah, no, you Germans are funny people. Really. Oh, everybody's so serious. Why are you so serious? You live in a great country, you know. When you see them walking on the road, it's like, I hate my life. You know? I said, no, you're fine. What are you worried about? You've got all these nice shops. You've got the euro. You know, you don't have to wait in queues to buy stuff. It's great, you know. And you know, you say hello, and you know, someone looks at you. Why? You know, hello, why? You know, no, sorry, I was just saying hi. You know.
I think there are also like a lot of things to fear in Germany, such as cyclists. I think they're an absolute menace and should be shot on sight. Yes. Luckily, we don't have any in Zimbabwe. They all get killed by cars. Here it seems to be the opposite. It seems that cyclists kill pedestrians. They kill cars. Cyclists don't stop for anyone.
We put you under insurance during the days you're here. Don't worry.
I think you should give people lessons when they come to Germany that you shouldn't care about the car lanes. You should watch out for the cycle lanes that aren't marked. They're just there. They're just there in the middle of the pavement. And also, I think that Germans love following rules and regulations. I mean, us Zimbabweans, we just cross the road when we cross the road. You know, you guys, you literally wait. There are no vehicles coming, and you have to wait for that little green man to appear, and then you're like, okay, we can cross now. We look cool and alternative, and we're in Kreuzberg, but we will wait for the green light to come on before we cross.
Tonga, nothing to love about in Germany. Come on, be creative.
The dogs. There's so many dogs, and they poop everywhere. And yeah, I think I have a phobia. I love dogs. This end, not so much what happens at the end. Yeah, but yeah, that's about it.
Kreuzberg also seems to be a really interesting microcosm of society, because it seems everyone, like, they drink and eat, but they don't buy clothes, or like our luggage got lost on KLM, and so we're walking around in Kreuzberg looking for clothes. There's cafes and bars. There's not one bloody clothes shop there, you know, to buy like a pair of shoes or whatever.
We all come to Mitte for clothes shopping, definitely. Let me open up for so many people who laughed a lot this evening already. Do you have questions? I would sponsor my microphone. I would give up the power of speech. Anybody wants to raise questions? I don't see the...
Dibgen.
Zilse.
More. Excuse the language, guys. First of all, I'd like to commend you guys on what you do, because coming from Zimbabwe, we all do understand the risks of actually doing exactly what it is that you do. Coming to mind, retired Zamara is still missing for just talking, not even like on TV, but just talking in the street like, yo, this is a bad situation, right? On that, I'd love to commend you, and I love your show on YouTube, watch it every time. One of them is my likes. I have one question. As a Zimbabwean living here, I'm not so much exposed to the physical dynamics happening in Zimbabwe right now. You all hear hearsay and what you read in the news and from family, whatever. But it's bad. It's really, really bad. My question is to you guys who are in your cosmos of entertainment, do you actually have, like, foresee a brighter day? Because it's pretty hard for me as a young man who has great dreams for my country to say, okay, yo, I'm in here, but I would love to be there too and experience the sun, boys. Number dope 2 minutes, but you know what I mean. But do you guys as artists see an eventual democracy coming to Zimbabwe where we can all say, yo, we used to have a bad time, but now it's popping?
Yeah, I would say a definite yes for me, because I think if we didn't foresee like a brighter future, we wouldn't be doing what we're doing. It might not come at a time that we expect it to, but like what we try to do is to motivate and plant seeds that might bear the fruits of that brighter day that we're all hoping for. It might not be in our generation, but it's definitely coming. We just don't know when, but it's definitely coming because things have gone so bad.
And I think that's also a really important thing is, like, you know, using different vehicles, if it's arts, if it's new media, that can inspire and motivate young people, because it's a really harsh, depressing situation when you've got, you know, 90% plus of the population under 25 unemployed and working in the informal sector. And so it's really important to find ways of, you know, inspiring them and motivating them, and also fighting against not just, you know, the larger dictatorship, but also the dictatorship of everyday life, and fighting against the power relations that get reciprocated across society because we've got such an oppressive ruling party. I mean, that ends up getting spread throughout society, you know. Into patriarchal relations, into race relations, and so that's also a really important part of the struggle, is that the revolution of everyday life. and not just focusing on elections every 5 years.
And I think also having that focus more on the people than actually the politics. Because I feel like focusing on politics gives that illusion of where the power resides, but actually it's all about igniting and activating the people into becoming self-sustaining beings, like working as communities at a grassroots level. Like just saying, okay, you can do your politics going right field, we're just gonna go as a people left field and just continue with life regardless of the political shenanigans happening.
Hi. I've been to Zimbabwe several times in the recent years, and being somewhat involved in the art scene there, I've seen the comedy scene grow at a very rapid speed, and especially stand-up comedy. I mean, there are now about 20, 30 comedians. And so I've witnessed...
me.
Yes. So I've witnessed the start of Zambezi news and its development, and what I see is a lot of racist stereotypes of black people and so-called colored people, a lot of sexist stereotypes and appropriation, and the use of blackface is just the most obvious example of that. I mean, you've used that several times despite being criticized for it. And so just to come to my question, you say that you address issues of race and sex, but it seems to me that instead of challenging racism, white supremacy and sexism, you're actually practicing it. So I would just like to ask you if you could elaborate on that.
It's called sarcasm.
And to add on to that, it feels like when you are speaking of something happening or enacting something happening, you do run the risk of people focusing on you actually doing the act and not the actual act that you're highlighting. So when we're going down and actually writing the script and saying, okay, this is about racism, we are going to enact racist acts in order to bring that subject matter across. So it's not like in the same way where you're going to be like, racism is bad, don't be racist or whatever. So it's looking at a new vehicle of communicating that message. And it is, I think the power in it is it allows people to debate it from a different, what can I say, paradigm than they're used to. So, yeah.
And that's the thing is also, I mean, Zambezi News, the characters we're playing are not the heroes of the revolution. They are the parody of the state propaganda mouthpiece. And so that's what we're doing, is we're parodying and satirizing the relentless propaganda that we get and turning it on its head.
Yeah, and basically it's just, I mean, everything we show is to show the stupidity of some of these things, like racism, sexism, homophobia, all that. We show all that to show people that it's ridiculous to have all these phobias and to have, you know, even gender problems and all that. Why? We're all people. Let's live and love.
Because on the real, if anyone took that gay skit seriously, like if that's what you think, you know, our version of history is no. But that, what we're doing there is a parody of what is going on within African politics at the moment. That every single problem is traced back to homosexuality. It's traced back to gay people. And so we're like, right, let's write the history of the gays invading Africa and being the cause of all the problems. You know what I mean? That's how we write. That's how we write.
I would direct a little bit to the other side, so we have gender balance, side balance, whatever balance.
So thank you for the great show, really enjoyed it. You have been announced as the Zimbabwean version of the Heute-Show, which is a German satire show, being funded by German state media. So I assume that you're not being funded by Zimbabwean state media. But if I may ask you this really basic question, because I'm really curious, how do you fund your project?
It's his money.
We sell DVDs, which unfortunately are with KLM right now in London. Now we fund the project through different means. Magamba Network, which is like the mothership that myself and Out founded back in 2007. We run it as a trust, and we run 5 different projects under it, of which Zambezi News is one. So we do get funding. We do have partners who support us, such as Heinrich-Böll, and other funders from Europe, the US, and Africa. We also generate income through doing live shows, through selling the rights to TV stations, through selling DVDs. Yeah. We're going to sell you some imaginary DVDs after this show. You can come see me.
But
we'll
we
give
need
you
real
imaginary
money.
DVDs, but we need real money.
That's how it works.
No
Zimbabwe
Zim
style.
dollars.
There's a gentleman over there, yeah, and then I think I saw. I can hardly
Yeah.
see you. Sorry.
Hello. Welcome to Berlin. I was very surprised and happy to see you here. I have a question regarding your audience, because when I saw you last time live, it was at Haifa in Harare, so this was an international audience. And you mentioned that you travel a lot abroad, and from other projects I know that it is very difficult to get funding for traveling within Africa or within even nationwide, but also across the continent. So I'm interested in, are you traveling, or how do you manage to travel within Zimbabwe? Who's supporting you there? So who is actually watching your show? Do you have reactions, people watching you on YouTube? And also, do you travel across the continent?
So locally, we do have focus groups like in Harare, the capital, and also in Bulawayo, and also aiming to stretch it out to other smaller towns like Mutare and Gweru. But the main challenge is accessibility of the communities, because these are political topics. So in terms of the models of vehicles that we'll use to disseminate the information, DVDs are safer in the rural communities where you know it's ZANU-PF stronghold. You don't go by your enemy's doorstep and expect a warm welcome. But then in other areas where we know that there is some security, we do live shows in those areas.
And I think, definitely, of course, the majority of our viewers are Zimbabwean, and for each season, we come up with creative means of distributing the season. So we'll produce 10,000 DVDs, and we distribute those across the country through various distribution partners, through networks and grassroots organizations on the ground. And we've been doing that since season 1, where just, for example, with season 1, our DVDs were requested and reached over 120 different villages, growth points, and towns. And then on top of that, we distribute a lot via WhatsApp and Facebook, because those are the biggest video content sharing platforms in Zim. YouTube is not big in Zimbabwe, actually. So we do put stuff on YouTube, but that's more for an international audience or Zimbabweans in the diaspora. Whereas the clips that we share via WhatsApp and Facebook get reshared and get reshared. And yeah, you get so many different kinds of people coming up to you in Zim. If it's on the streets, in the supermarket. Unfortunately, they don't know our actual names. They just know our characters that we play. But it definitely reaches a very wide demographic and mainly young people.
They know my name.
And we travel in Africa too. We've done the majority of our live shows outside of Zimbabwe. The majority of our live shows outside of Zimbabwe we've done in South Africa. We also did Swaziland recently. So yeah.
Any more questions? Yes. One more and then...
Thank you for your very lively performance. My name is Leo. I'm from Zimbabwe also. And I wanted to say, Deb. Yeah. And seriously, my question is relating to politically motivated violence. And as a Zimbabwean and as a man coming from Zimbabwe, I know that a lot of the violence, politically motivated rape or violence against women is done by mostly young men like myself and other young people. Do you find it easy to use hip-hop, for example, or arts to discuss with young men and boys about changing the psyche around masculinity and the use of violence as a form of showing that I'm a man. So like promoting messages about men being nurturing, soft and nice, and still being men. Because I see that as one of the problems at the heart of the violence that happens within our community. So my short question is: do you find that young men and boys take up these messages and promote these values? Yeah, thanks.
Okay, go first. Like when we started the organization, the main event we used to do was just Mashoko, which was a spoken word and hip hop event where we targeted alternative and socially positive messaging to be allowed a platform to communicate to the youth. Because a lot of the information that we're getting, if you're switching on the radio or the television, it's like misogynistic hip-hop and the likes. So we were providing that alternative. And then what happened was there was, what can I say, sprouting of younger artists that were also taking up the same kind of messaging and spreading it into their neighborhoods. Then we grew that initiative into Peace in the Hood concerts, where we then have workshops in the different neighborhoods, and then also concerts of like politically conscious music and like, yeah, positive messaging. Since we've slowed down on those events, they've been sprouting similar events that the communities are organizing themselves on a grassroots level. So I would say there's definitely uptake, spontaneous uptake from what we've been doing in those communities. Yeah.
Yeah, and just to add on to that as well, like for myself, I'm a stand-up comedian back in Zim. So most of my comedy is, we're trying to get rid of all that, especially that misogynistic sort of way of doing things. You know, you talk down about women and things like that. Like most comedy, stand-up comedy, especially American, it's very misogynistic. You know, they're talking down to women. They just, you know, that it's very sexist. And we're trying not to do that. I don't do that. In fact, I personally, I believe women are the strongest beings that were ever created by God. That's what I do believe, yes. I do honestly believe that. Thank you.
You've got a strong woman applauding you right here.
Thank you. I learned that from my mother, who's a strong woman, you know. And so it's the same thing. My wife is a strong woman. And so you shouldn't think that they're less. So in my comedy, it's about basically building women up, you know. I mean, I talk about women being great people. And there are young people who are now seeing that message. They are there, who know that, you know, don't be an African, as we say. You know, when we say don't be an African, I don't mean it in a bad way. What I mean is when we say to ourselves, don't be an African. Because we do things, you know, the wrong way all the time. You know, you beat up women. You know, it's my house. And it's not a democracy. It's a dictatorship. You know, that sort of thing. Men are like that in Africa, especially in Zimbabwe. And we're trying to do away with all that, you know. I'm definitely not a dictator in my house. You know, actually, I think I'm a servant, actually, but my wife is fully in charge of that. So, yes, the young people are taking it up. Yeah, thank you.
We have another question here.
So, hi. So I watched the Unreported World documentary about Zambezi news. And I would recommend it if anybody wants to find out about them. And it's a big bit about distributing DVDs and how that works. So it's really interesting. And it really highlights how much you put yourselves at risk by doing what you do. That documentary shows that it is very dangerous. And I was just wondering, does the Zimbabwean government know that you brought Zambezi news to Europe? And if so, how do you think they feel about that? And what kind of reception do you expect when you get back to Zimbabwe?
They don't mind us taking it to Europe. It's not a problem. Europe, no. The rural areas is where they're worried about us taking it. You know, like for them, like they'll be like, no, it's fine. Let them go on tour with it. Zambezi news to Europe.
There's no electorate there.
Yeah. We don't let these Zimbabweans in the diaspora vote. So go and preach to them as much as you like.
At least they got a break from you for a week or two.
No, it's more. It's. I mean, we definitely get much more heat when we're doing stuff back home, and of course, I mean, what we do when we're going on tour, if it's coming here to Germany or elsewhere, it's definitely about raising awareness about the situation back home, And then, you know, the heat that we get is when we're doing, you know, when we're launching a new season in the country or distributing DVDs. So we have our DVDs confiscated and raided from the different like community radio stations that we work with. The police are on the phone to us when we're launching season 3. The CIO, the censorship board, you name it. We've also had threats. You know, Mike was threatened recently by suspected state security agents. So I mean, you know, the threats are real, and especially when you're doing the outreach within Zimbabwe.
But of course, we hired close protection for you way back.
Yes,
thanks a lot
we've got some really great close protection from hipsters in Kreutzberg.
Exactly.
They're acting as our chaperones.
We won't name them tonight. Thank you very much for the formal part, everybody. Thanks, Mike, Farai, Tongai. Thank you for bearing with us, sitting for such a long time. Wonderful to have you. I laughed a lot the last 2 days. Thanks for that. Of course, there's more time to talk to them. They might dress more casual over time, but they're here with us. I think it's time for some patriotic food and imperialistic beer. Please stay with us. There's also, of course, the Gebrüder Teichmann tonight, Berlin's most famous DJs, playing music for us. So enjoy the evening. Thank you.
Dankeschön. Thank you.
We'll see to it. I'll tell you.
Thanks so much for hosting us.